Episode 3 of the PDT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Smith, sports editor at the Daily Times. I was happy to be joined for Episode 3 by Northwest Athletic Director and girls basketball coach Dave Frantz. In addition to both those things, Frantz has been teaching and coaching in the Northwest School District for the last 32 years, so he was able to provide a lot of insight and stories as time on the state of Mohawk athletics today, and we were also able to discuss his Lady Mohawks girls basketball team, who is the number 5 seed in the Division III Southeast District rankings, and will play their upcoming sectional semifinal game this Thursday against Crooksville, with a possible sectional final this Saturday against the winner of Oak Hill and Eastern Meigs. Let's get to the episode. All right, happy to be joined for Episode 3 of the PDT Sports Podcast by Northwest Athletic Director and girls basketball coach, in addition to the numerous other hats he wears, Coach Dave Frantz. Happy to have you on the podcast.
My pleasure. It sounds like we're going to have a good time here today.
Absolutely. Wanted to have you on to talk about your time here at Northwest, the state of Mohawk athletics, how things have changed here since you first started. But first, wanted to discuss your Lady Mohawks basketball team. Y'all are 17-3, seated as the number 5 Division III team in the Southeast District. Y'all are going to face number 28 Crooksville in your sectional semifinal game on Thursday. If everything goes right Thursday, you get the winner of Oak Hill, Eastern Meigs in the sectional title on Saturday. Still have 2 regular season games to make up by SOC2 bylaws, but what's the season been like as far as the success that you all have had up to this point?
We knew we would be better this year. We really thought we would be better, just because I have three girls that have actually, this is their 3rd year starting. So, with Hayden Walmsley and Val Copas and Kara Potts, they've been starting, and Ava Jenkins is her 2nd year starter. So, bringing back 4 kids with experience, we knew we'd be a little better. And the league this year, I think from when we talked before this season started, is so balanced. And we've been very fortunate that we won a lot of the tight games. And I think that's been, very key to our success this year. Is we won a lot of tight games because just about every team can play with every team in the SOC2 this year. But
and even down the stretch last year, I felt like you guys were playing really good. You guys took Minford on the road in a really close game at Minford, who ended up being a sectional title team last year. The Ironton postseason game came to mind. You guys really fought with them in a tough game. And then you guys put together a really outstanding regular season and challenged Wheelersburg for the conference crown. So you kind of touched on it there, but coming into the year, was this the type of year you expected at the onset?
I thought we grew a whole lot last year as the season progressed. As you said, we did. We got better and we were growing, but we were still, there were still things we were missing and everything. But then coming into this year, I'm not one of them. I learned from all my past guys I've worked under, you don't make predictions. You don't count your record. You don't count a game before you play it. And I thought we could go anywhere from 1 to 7 in the league, to be honest with you. I knew Wheelersburg was going to be the team. Everybody, I think, knew that. And Oak Hill was good, and South Webster's bringing back. Everybody you play, we knew was going to be good, but I think a turning point, the key thing, and it was early, I hate to say a turning point, but when Reagan Lewis hit that last second shot against Oak Hill this year, I think that's when our kids realized, hey, we can play with anybody. To beat Oak Hill, the quality program they have on their court, that said a lot, and we did it with a kid that come off the bench, and I think it showed the kids, to believe in themselves. And I think that was that was key to getting the whole thing started right there.
Your lone senior on this team is Kara Potts. She's a soft-spoken kid, but a great leader and player. How has she been such a catalyst for you guys on the team and a leader to some of the younger girls?
Key is, like I said, she's the lone senior. She's been with us. This is her 4th year. It's the 3rd year starting. She is. And I would say leader and scorer, but I have 3 girls that average 11 points a game. And there's games when Key will score, maybe 18, 19. There's games when she scored 3 or 4. But on this team, it doesn't matter to the kids. They care about the main stat, which is the win, of course. But she's been, she has led us. She is our leading rebounder, one of our leading scorers. And, it's just that her length and everything, that is so, she changes a lot of people around her just because of the length she presents, inside for people.
Again, the Lady Mohawks face Crooksville in their sectional semifinal at Valley this Thursday at 6:15, and a possible sectional final this Saturday, if everything goes right Thursday, against the winner of Oak Hill and Reedsville Eastern Megs. That's right. So, kind of moving on from that and just into your time here at Northwest, how long have you been involved here in athletics here at Northwest?
I student taught at Northwest High School in the fall of 1988.
Wow.
And I coached football that year under Mike Brown, who, is a man that I've been out here so long everybody thinks I'm a Northwest grad. I actually graduated from Portsmouth West High School. Okay. And I graduated, and I was very fortunate to play under some very great coaches at West. I was mentored, I played under Dick Tipton, Steve Rapp, John Bowling, Chris Gibson, Steve Kitchen. I mean, the list goes on. And I felt like I was brought, and Mike Brown was one of the coaches. And then when Mike got the head coaching job at Northwest, he come to me and asked me to come out here because he knew I was getting ready to student teach. And it changed my life forever because, I had no dreams of ever working here. And now this is home. I wouldn't want to leave here for anything.
Was coaching and being an administrator always something you wanted to do, even though it wasn't specifically here that you planned?
Yes, it goes, and I'll go back to my senior year in high school, third game of the season, I blow my shoulder out against Boyd County running the ball in a football game. And I remember it like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the emergency room, and when I come back out of the emergency room, back to the waiting room with my mom and dad, or I come back from x-ray, I'm sorry, they're sitting Mike Brown and Dick Tipton in my room at 3 in the morning. And that first of all, that meant something to me. Hey, these guys really care about me. And then from there on, and Mike Brown said it, and I thought he was just saying it to make me feel better when they told me my, days of football were over. He said, I want you to go up on top in the press box with me in football the rest of the year. Well, the next week there I was up on the press box in the rest of the year, and that was an SOC championship team at West in the season of '82. But I actually had a headset on, and I was, maybe, I don't know if they think I was important as I did at the time, but it gave me a taste of it. First of all, it gave me I felt like, man, these coaches really care about me, and they made a difference in my life. And right there inspired me. And then, I enjoyed the coaching part of it, and they helped me I helped run drills. I did a lot of stuff. So I sort of became a student coach at that time. And that made such a difference in my life. That's what made me decide this career.
You said you began student teaching here and coaching here in the fall of '88. How have athletics changed as a whole from the time you've started, both from an administrative level and then here specifically?
Oh, just from an administrative level, it seems like it's so much more. Well, first of all, travel ball has come into play at every level, every sport, which I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, I see some good in it, but sometimes I feel like it hurts the interscholastic sports sometimes. But as far as that, you have to deal, and the rules and the transfers of everything, more people coming in and out and trying to stay up with all the new rules that from the OHSA, which they have to do because of course, state laws and stuff. That has been how athletics have changed the most to me. It just seems like you have got to stay on top of the game, and it's mostly with transfer. But now, as far as Northwest, when I came in, we had some gritty, hard-nosed kids, and we were very competitive. Our baseball team was the best around. We had a really good baseball, and basketball was competitive, and football, we were competitive there. And then after 5-10 years, we just sort of went down. We sort of had a swing down in athletics. Our girls' athletics was still strong. Our boys, great kids, hardworking. I've never had a bunch of bad kids out here. But athletically, we started going back down. But here, as of recent, it seems like we're trying to make the swing back up. And the ironic part of it is, I'd see a lot of the things I attribute that to in the early 90s, the mid 90s, the late 90s. The guys that I said that we were strong, they're the parents now. So they were really good kids and hard workers then, and now they're raising their kids to be, hard workers and everything. Plus, they are getting involved. They are helping in the junior high level, the pee-wee level. Some of them are on our school board now, and they have got involved and bought into their art. They want to see it. I see the pride they give our district, and that's where their kids are coming through. They're doing the same thing. So I give a lot of credit to those kids I still call them kids, but these men that were, from the 90s and beyond that are really helping us, gain success now.
Yeah, trying to piggyback off that, how have you as a coach and other coaches tried to curb that outside mindset of people towards Northwest and say, Northwest, if your kid goes there, no, they're not going to have any success in athletics. But, over the last 5 years and over the last 10, 15 years, and in specific sports, that's proven not to be the case. So how have you guys, been able to do that?
Well, I've told the kids, too many people want to sit there and feel sorry for themselves. That's today's society. Oh, we're not very good and we can't, and everything. And as a coach and as a person, heck with crying about it. There's only one way to change people's mindset. First of all, I don't care what other people think about us, but if you want respect, you have to gain respect. I'll go to this year's girls basketball team. I say, hey, we have to gain respect. We think we're good, but that doesn't matter. We have to prove we are good, and that's just the same way with anything in life. But in our athletics out here, you can sit here and cry, complain all you want, or you can brag all you want. You can do whatever you want, but until you show it on the field and you exhibit things that gain you respect, you're not going to get any better. You're not going to change mindsets. So we have to, I emphasize, not only do we want to do well, we want to do it the right way. We got to have the right attitudes. We have to be good winners, and you have to be good losers. It's hard to be a good loser. And sometimes it's even harder to be a good winner after you have lost so much. And that's a big emphasis. I put a big emphasis on, behavior. And I think that takes someone, I think winning comes from that too, that mindset, to be proud of your school. And that's another thing back to, you say the mindset. You have to get our people. Sometimes we'll have kids hear from home, you guys aren't even good, you never have been good, where they hear it from the community, social media. They got to block that out. And that's the thing we have to tell our kids. Be proud to be a Mohawk. Work harder to get better. And if you want the respect, again, gain it. Work hard to get it.
So one of the big projects you guys have done in the past couple of years, obviously the football complex. How glad are you that is now finished?
Oh, my goodness. Well, you don't know. That was probably one of the longest. This past year is probably one of the longest years of my life, but in an exciting way. But still, just we've had delays. We had weather delays. We had just like any construction. And in fact, we're in a little delay on the exterior. We were fine. We played ball, had some nice football, soccer there this fall. But our indoor facility, we're still having a couple of troubles. In fact, we have a big meeting tomorrow, superintendent and I, and a couple of the construction companies, because our indoor turf area is not up to par. So, and that's been a headache. So it's still not over. It's been an exciting time. It'll be so exciting when it is over, though.
How long has it been since you've seen the level of support that was there for the football program, like we saw in Coach Crabtree's first season?
It was, we had a great support, and it was funny because I can remember from back when I was an assistant coach in the mid-90s. I think it was the 94 graduating class or 94 season. I'm not sure, but we ended up with, won a few SOC games. That's when we were playing in Division II, and most of those guys on that team have kids playing. In fact, I think Coach Crabtree may have been on those teams.
Sure.
And we had great support then, and we have always had good parents and everything, but then it seems like Coach Fry a couple years ago or about 5-6 years ago come along, We won our first SOC, good support then. And then Coach Crabtree really worked hard and he's worked really hard on selling the program. And he has really put a lot of effort into, getting people to buy in. He's out there selling. He's a salesman right now, and he's selling the program, and he did a nice job of doing that.
I think the thing that stood out to me this past fall was whenever I came out for media day, and there was 58 kids on the roster, and just 18 juniors and seniors. So, just take that from a year ago and to now have that level of interest in the program. 40 underclassmen. I think that speaks a lot to what they're doing.
And I give Coach Crabtree a lot of credit, and I'm going back to these parents that are coaching. They started at the Pee Wee level. And one of the many hats I wear is a football and official too. So I got my officiating license in 1983. So I've had my license forever, but I've done a lot of youth league games, and our numbers have been great. These guys have been grooming these kids all the way up and building the program, and then Coach Crabtree jumps in and runs with it. He runs with the hand he's given, and it's done a nice job. So it's a team effort on this.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a community, it's a group. It's not an individual person that's done this. It's a team, and like I said, the team works together, and it's what it takes, to be successful.
How about the success you guys have had in cross country and the track and field, especially this past spring?
Well, track and field again. In track and field, we have yet to get that elusive SOC title. This is, as far as coaching, this is my 32nd year of track. So I've been head coach for 32 years here, and we have had numerous second place finishes, and we have the last few years, but last year we finally started getting the pieces together, and then because it seems like I've always had a pretty strong sprinting crew and some good high jumpers, long jumpers, throwers. I've had some decent distance runners, but Coach Adam Schrader, who come along from, ran at Shawnee, was an excellent runner at Shawnee. He's come along, and he's a true distance coach. I've yet to have a true distance coach, and he is that person that, has come and he puts these kids in a program, and they believe in him. So there's the cross country kids. Then those kids come over to the track program, and then we mix them in with the non-cross. We have some football players that I'll throw in this, and he's been a great assistant coach for me in track, to get our kids there. But another thing with the track program, I also have Brooks Fry, and Josh Keeney has helped me, and Chris Enns is our girls coach. How we do our track program here, I'm the head boys coach, Chris Enns the head girls coach. I can't even tell. I think Adam Schrader's the assistant boys and Brooks is the assistant girls. But it's all on. That's all. Doesn't matter, because I will go out. Coach Fry will go out there and coach all the throwers. Coach Schrader will go out and coach boys, girls, distance. Coach Enns and I, we take everything else. So we'll have anywhere from hurdlers to high jumpers, sprinters, long jumpers, anything, mid sprints, short sprints, but we work as a team. And so when I say I'm the head girls coach, I'm just one of 4 guys that are working with the whole boys program, and the same way with the girls. And I think that has made us stronger because we can specialize more in our events with the kid. We get more, instead of 2 coaches trying to cover just the boys team and 2 coached girls, we're 4 of us spread out, and we get more coaching in, and each kid receives more, instruction.
I just want to get into some general questions to kind of pick your coaching brain. Do you have a favorite sport to coach?
Whatever I'm coaching at that time. I'll be honest with you. When I came out here, I come out here to coach football. I loved football. I spent 25 years coaching football. As a new teacher, as a new coach trying to get a job, I started coaching basketball and track back in the late 80s. And I was a baseball player my whole life. That was probably my best sport in high school was baseball. And I started coaching track and fell in love with it, and have done it ever since. basketball I just did for a few years and everything. And then due to unforeseen circumstances about 4 years ago, our girls' basketball job came open in mid-season. And I told the superintendent at the time, I said, I'll do it until you find someone. Like, I'll go to practice tomorrow. Well, then I had a game the next day, and I hadn't coached in 20-some years basketball. And I started liking it. And then the superintendent comes to me, and she tells me, hey, parents said, we found our coach. We want you. And 4 years later, I'm having as much fun as I had in my life coaching girls basketball. So to answer your question, now come track season, I'm full go. I'm in. So I've coached so many sports. I've enjoyed them all, though. It's sort of vague, but that's how I feel.
That's a great way to look at it. Who are some of the best players you've coached, regardless of sport?
Athletically, okay, if I go back in football, I would say, we've had some great kids. As far as like of a lineman, I remember Dan Shirey and Billy Boggs from back in the 90s. Those boys were two of the best linemen I ever coached. Brandon Doss at a quarterback was probably one of the most true athletes I've coached. Those were probably three of the better kids. And there's been Doug Modeman was a heck of a running back for us. And, Keith Phipps, I could name, we've had some good in that area. We've had some good, some guys. In track, I'd say I go back to, I think it was about that 94 class, Josh Steamer. Josh broke 5 school records. He could sprint, he had our long jump record, he had our sprinting record, and he had our 2-mile record all at the same time. Just all around great athlete. Now, coming right now, I'll even go to the recent years. Tyler Webb's a great sprinter. Chase McClay competed in 2 events in the state meet last year. Landon Smith, and right now is to me one of the premier track kids in the area. And it's a good problem, but I have someone like Landon Smith on our team, and in cross country we're running for Coach Schrader, and you forget sometimes about Gabe Morrell and Josh Shope sometimes, and any other year they're the class of the area. But you have Landon on team, so really it's a team thing, and those guys make the work, they each make each other better. So, in track, those are your top guys there. Then I look at, in girls track, Hayden Walmsley. Hayden, she's about as, I'd say that in track, she's a basketball player, a volleyball player, softball player, one of our best athletes out here. Shay Patty, who high jumped at Shawnee. Shay could do anything, basketball, every sport, and was a very great athlete. And to me, one of the best athletes ever in this area, as far on the female side. I got to coach her a little bit in track, but her best 2 sports, she was a volleyball, softball, basketball player, and I didn't have the pleasure of coaching her. There was Kristen Bradshaw, who's now a softball coach at Portsmouth. Kristen played ball at Wright State, and she was just probably the most pure athlete, female athlete in this area for years. So,
how about growing up? You said you graduated from West. Was there people you idolized, or people that you kind of look back on and say, okay, those were the premier athletes of that day?
Back when I was growing up, that was the culture. I don't know if it's the culture now. People now are looking at, where we were looking at Dr. J and everything. They're looking at, LeBron, Kobe, and that. But we idolized the high school kids when I went to West. I remember the best running back I thought was Bloss Evans, number 7 at West. I can remember watching him just in amazement all the time. And I was the youngest of 4, so I got to go to see a lot of the older kids play, and but we had, and then even when I was a freshman at West, we had 2 Division I linemen, Rich Blakeman and Craig Bailey. Small running back in the backfield was Craig Weber. He was he was about my size and just could run over you, run around you, whatever. So, there was a lot of young guys. And then also on the basketball court, you'd have Kelly Shy, who was goes to Alabama to play. He played at West, graduated in '75. So, and there's many more, but yeah, that's the guys we watched.
I'm going to book in the podcast by asking you a question about your Lady Mohawks. What's it going to take for you guys to get a sectional title this weekend?
Sectional title is to play as a team, to do what got us here, basically. To play as a team, to play every minute mistake. We have to cut down, of course, on turnovers, which has been a problem for us a lot this year. But we have to play as a team. We have to find out what's working and go with that night, because the key to this team, again, is go with what's working at that time, who's working, what are they giving us. We're hard to defend because we can go to 4 to 5 different girls to score. If you're going to stop, we have been so good at, if a team is concentrating on one person, the other one's picked it up, and this person has known their role into, you have a different role this game. So Crooksville, like I said, they only have 2 wins, but they play in a conference where they play quite a few Division II and III, Division II schools. So even though they're 2 wins, that can be a little deceiving because their competition they play as good of competition as anybody around. Now, of course, we have a lot higher seed, and we play like we should. If we play what we're capable of playing, we should win that game. Then we go up against, Reedsville Eastern and Oak Hill. Well, of course, we've seen Oak Hill twice this year. Beat them on a last-second shot by 1. Beat them by 6 here in a tight game. So, and honestly, the first thing anybody says, it's hard to beat someone 3 times in a season. Hey, it's another team on the schedule. Oak Hill's hard to beat 1 time in a season. We beat them twice. I mean, we want to beat them 3 times if that's the opportunity approaches. I'm not going to get into we can't win this. We have to go in confident and playing hard, and of course, stopping Brisker. Stopping is their main goal. She's their main key, and if it even is them, it may Eastern. They have to get by Eastern yet, but our goal is basically to do what has worked for us and to remember, to play as a team. Because if I've heard more than the most people that have watched us are impressed with the unselfish play. We're a very unselfish team, and we have to continue to be that way if we want to succeed.
Coach Frantz, I really appreciate you joining me and being able to talk some Northwest athletics with me.
Hey, this has been fun. I've enjoyed it. As you can tell, I like to talk. So, no, I've enjoyed it, Jacob. I really appreciate your coverage of us.
I appreciate it. If you're not already following us, here's how to do so. On Facebook, you can search Portsmouth Daily Times Sports. On Instagram and Twitter, you can follow @PDT Sports _. And on Twitter, you can follow myself @Jacob Smith, PDT, or Sports Reporter Paul Boggs @Boggs Sports.